Okay, in this lab, we will actually be making ionic compounds. You should already have picked up a data table that looks like this from me. And as I go through the lab during the video, you can fill out this data table. So to simplify this, basically, I have a bunch of solutions that have cations in them. So I have a solution with cobalt, with lead, with copper. And you can see on this sheet, I already have put the cations all across these rows. So all of these pink dots have cobalt. All of these have lead. All of these have copper, etc. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these different anions, so these negative ions, and I'm going to drop them all down the row. So I'm going to drop PO4 all down this row and OH minus all down this row. And I'm going to record whether a reaction happens or not. If nothing happens, you can either make an X or write NR for no reaction. If nothing happens, it will just look clear. Now, if the solution turns cloudy, however, that means that this ion, if the solution turns cloudy, like right here, that means that this ion and this ion are combining to make an ionic compound. And later in the lab, you'll write the name and formula of that compound. But for now, we're just going to write down our observations. So all you need to write on this paper is an X for no reaction or a C for cloudy or for compound. So I'm just going to start by getting my pipette that has phosphate, and I'm going to put 2 drops of phosphate on each of these drops that are already here. You can see some really kind of cool reactions going on. And that one turned yellow. Okay, so if we look at these, actually every single one of these is cloudy. Even this one that looks kind of clear, if you look really closely, you can see that it's not transparent. You can't quite see that X. So on my data table, I would record all the way down this row, C, 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 C for cloudy. Okay, so I'm going to just go through. I expect that you know how to fill out the data table now, so I'll just kind of silently do these reactions. Okay, now a few of these, just to help you out, a few of these it's kind of hard to tell if they are cloudy. So this one is definitely cloudy. This one right here, I would say is not cloudy. That X, I can still see it the same amount that I could before I added the solution. This one I would say is a little bit cloudy. This one I would say is not. Okay. Some really interesting reactions going on here. This is ferrous cyanide ion that I'm putting in there right now. So again, on this column, you can decide on some of them. I would probably say on this one right here, this one didn't really react. So I'm just going to write an X there for no reaction. But a lot of the other ones were cloudy. Again, I'll just kind of let you determine which ones you think were not cloudy. Okay, continuing on with carbonate ion. Okay, so that was carbonate. Now we're going to do iodide. And I'm just going to do 1 drop because I don't have very much of this stuff. Okay, so you can see what happened with that one. And then lastly, this ion is called oxalate. All right, so that is the end of the lab portion of the experiment. Now, if you were wondering what happens when these all get mixed together, I'll show you just for fun. Mix them all together, lots of kind of pretty and really gross colors. And now I'll clean that up in just a minute. I want to show you really quickly what you should do for the rest of this assignment. You need to write 12 names and formulas of these different compounds that formed. So maybe just number your paper from 1 to 12. You can decide how best to do this. Now I haven't filled this out obviously, but yours should be all filled out. So you just need to pick 12 squares that have a C where a reaction actually happened and write the name and the compound for those 12 squares. So I'm going to do this first square right here, and I'm going to make my table to balance the charges. So this square is a compound between cobalt and phosphate. So cobalt is a 2+ ion, it tells me right here. Phosphate is a 3- ion. So I will need 2 phosphates and 3 cobalts in order for the charges to be balanced. That gives me 6 positives and 6 negatives. Then to write the formula, I would just write CO3, because I have 3 cobalts, PO for 2. Now that's the first part, that's the formula. Now I need to write the name. So cobalt is the cation, I write it first, and I just write its name cobalt. Now if you look on the periodic table, you find out that cobalt is a transition metal. So its charge needs to be written with Roman numerals. Now this one's pretty easy because they gave me the charge right here. So I just need to write cobalt 2. And then PO4 is a polyatomic ion. So that one needs to be looked up in the chart. If you look it up, you find out that it's phosphate. Okay, I should probably be writing smaller because I'm not going to be able to fit everything. I'm just going to do one more. We'll do cobalt hydroxide. So cobalt is a 2+, hydroxide is a 1-. So I'll need 2 of them for this to balance out. So that will be cobalt OH2 or cobalt 2 hydroxide. All right, so do that for 12 of them, then staple these together and turn them in. And that's all. Thanks for watching.